Hey guys, I'm Simple Muide. Welcome to the episode 4 of Progressive House Music Making. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to layer drums and percussion in Progressive House music. So without wasting any time, let's jump into FL Studio. So before I begin, I will let you listen to the whole song so you have a better understanding of what drums and percussion will be in the music later. Just think on that the purple color is the drum and percussion that I will be showing you in this video. So here we go, let's start with the drop first. So in the drop, the first thing I will add is by using a kick. So this is the first thing I add. Before the kick kicks in the drop, I add a reverse kick to make the kick somewhat audible in the drop to make the drop a bit more punchy. And the second part, I also add a reverse kick. The next thing I'll add is the clap. As you can see, I add a double clap here every 2 bar to make the drop sound more interesting. Also at the part before the claps 2 times, I add a reverse clap to make the clap sound more interesting. Great. At the second part, I also add a triple clap to make the second part of the drop different from the first part of the drop. Also at the end of the drop, I remove the kick. The next thing I'll add is silver crash and exhaust to make the drop sound more powerful. The first one is a crash, exhaust, some dub swipe, and more crash, and more exhaust, and more swipe, and some down lifter. So everything sound together with the kick is like this. So between the drop, I have a small crash to make the transition smoother. Also, I feel like the drop is a bit quiet, so I add a crowd cheering sound to cheer up the drop. So the crowd cheering sound, I add a reverb and a sidechain. and remove some of the low end and remove some of the high end. The next thing I'll add is some swipe up to bring up the tension before the second part of the drop hits in. Something like this. So for information, I add a break in between the drop to make the drop a bit hanging. The next thing I'll add is this little glitch thing, like a frog sound, to make the drop even more interesting and sound more fuller. And in conjunction with the glitch, I add the reverse snare, something like this, to make the transition to the glitch sound a bit more smoother. Next thing I'll add is some ambience and a clap. So it sounds like this. In the second part of the drop, I add a hi-hat loop, some open hi-hats, a drum loop, and it sounds like this. Last but not least, in the drop, I add this shout effect from Ultrasonic. I feel like the shout is important, ear candy to this progressive house track, because I want the progressive house track to sound a bit happier, as in the first episode I said. So I add this, make the overall track sound a bit more cheerful in terms of mood. So it sounds like this in the drop. Okay, so at the end of the drop, I add an impact. And also I add some build-up snare and a flange. And some beep. So that it sounds like it's towards the ending of the drop. Let's have a listen. Nice. So the drop is done. Now let's move on to the build up. In the build up, the first thing I'll add is a snare build up. More snare, but the snare is hit harder. As you can hear, towards the ending part of the build-up tends to build up the frequency and a bit muddier and noisy and annoying towards the end. So I automate the pitch to make the snare pitch up and more interesting for the build-up. Nice. Next thing I'll add is the clap from the drop to fill up the last 2 bars of the build-up. Next thing I'll add is some swipe up and flange, some crash. So it sounds like this. Nice. The next thing I'll add is more build-up drums, a riser, more like a beep, and the last thing is clock from Martin Garrix's Perc to build up the tension before the drop. So everything sounds together in a build-up is like this. Nice. And this is the drop. Now let's proceed to the breakdown. In the breakdown, I have some several instruments here, as you can hear, and I will explain it to the next episode, so stay tuned. And this is the part where I add just a little bit of your candy. So first thing first, as you can hear, is a kick. This kick is different from the kick in the drop because it tends to be more quieter and more calm. So I use an acoustic kick. And I add the snap, the exhaust, and the crash. Also I add an ambience here, make the track more emotional. Just before the build up, I add a fill, which consists of a clap, a reversing, a big snare, and a reverse clap. So everything sounds like this. Before the track goes to this kick, to this acoustic part, I add a fill by using cashmere tone. Sound like this. So here I am reversing again. So it sounds like this. Before that, I also add an ambient. It's just one note play through the track. I also include the ambience too, sort of make the track more emotional. So it will sound like this in the track, in the mix. Thank you guys for tuning in this video. I hope you enjoyed the process as I do, and I hope you learned something from me today in this video. If you have any question regarding this drums and percussion layering, feel free to comment down below and I will answer you as soon as possible. So in the next episode, I will be explaining how to layer the instrument of this progressive house track. So make sure you stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.